Okay. How's it sounding now? Okay, so yeah, I just needed to add the audio input capture. My bad. So, anyways, let's get back to this article real quick because, like, honestly, I don't know where to begin. Because again, I feel like this first paragraph right here says it all. Not even the first paragraph, but the last portion of this first paragraph. Outside of being aware of the idea that its nose grows every time P tells a lie, I'm not familiar with the story of Pinocchio, which Lies of P is based on, so I don't have any expectations about the narrative one way or another. This isn't just someone hating on Lies of P. Alright, and hell, I'll be the first to tell it to you right now. I, you know, the game wasn't really on my radar. It just, especially considering everything else I had been playing recently, like, Street Fighter 6, Armored Core 6, Final Fantasy 16, and then getting into Star Ocean, the second story R. Lies of P just didn't show up on my radar. But a couple of the boys have been playing it. I've been watching, and it's been a hell of an experience. It just looks like a solid game. But the fact that this doofus decided to apparently completely forego even researching the gist of the story of Pinocchio. I mean, what is wrong with you? What is your malfunction? You are assigned to review a game, and you hear from from the released information. Okay, this game this game has its roots in the story, the story of Pinocchio, the adventures of Pinocchio. You have damn near the sum total of human knowledge at your fingertips, aka the internet. You can't take literally 2 seconds to just, what is the story of Pinocchio? 5 minutes worth of cursory research into Pinocchio itself. Hell, you could take literally like 3 or 4 minutes to look up the synopsis of the Disney classic, and you will have a base understanding of the source material that informs this game. This is called doing your due diligence as a journalist, whether you are a games media journalist or a world news journalist or even a local news journalist. Probably a youngin. I would give Zoomers more credit. All right, I wouldn't insult Zoomers by lumping this dude in with them, no matter how old he is, because even most Zoomers I know would say, "Hey, what's this Pinocchio thing all about?" And they'd probably check it out. Oh, it's a Disney cartoon. Let me take a look. And there you have it. A teenager's curiosity would net them more information than this dude has apparently wanted to gather on his own, which really says volumes about him, none of it good. But let's continue with the article, though. But Lies of P's looks aren't so much inspired by those games. They are a pale imitation. Once again, this right here sounds a lot more like just straight up bias. This this isn't even a review. It's an op-ed disguised as a review. He's not spitting anything remotely resembling objective fact so much as opinion based on his own limited knowledge and limited scope of view. Cobblestone streets, dimly lit alleyways, gaslit street lamps, candlelight shining through house windows, behind which sit heavy accented NPCs who have 3 lines of dialogue. It doesn't offer any new take on its aesthetics, and seems content to just remind you of things you've seen before. Bro. This is just more complaining. I've gone through the first 2 paragraphs of this article, and all this guy's doing is just levying a very biased description of the game. How much bias does it take, again, before what's supposed to be a review turns into an op-ed? See where we're going here? But I suffered through reading through this, so if y'all will permit me, suffer with me. The deeper into the game I got, the more that became nakedly apparent. If you ever played a Souls-like, you know what the worst of them tend to lift. You know that the worst of them tend to lift elements whole cloth from the better ones, and from FromSoft's own work, without justifying their existence or really understanding the circumstances that birthed them in the first place. This sounds to me again, this again reads to me like just more complaining. More, this is supposed to be a wannabe Souls-like, instead of, taking it on its own merits. Because a cursory look, again, 5 minutes worth of research, use the Google. Google is your friend. 5 minutes worth of research, 5 minutes worth of looking for anything from the developers themselves. And this dumbass would know flat out. The developers of the game, they did make it very clear that they took inspiration from Software's games. From Sekiro. From Bloodborne. From Dark Souls. Obviously. FromSoft laid the groundwork for this type of game. They really laid the groundwork for it. And Lies of P never advertised itself as being, the next Bloodborne. It never advertised itself as being, this great reinvention of the Soulsborne genre. It advertised itself as being a dark gothic reimagining, a dark gothic retelling, a dark gothic remix, as you would, of the classic story and the classic adventures of Pinocchio, inspired by Pinocchio, with mechanical and audiovisual inspiration taken from Bloodborne and from Dark Souls. It never advertised itself as, this great second coming of the genre. Just, this is a really cool this could be a really cool retelling of Pinocchio. Here's what we got. Here's the world that we have set up. You've got puppets, you've got dark alleys, you've got this, you know, you've got this steampunk gothic atmosphere. Jump in, have fun, and experience how we tell the story. That is all that was done when advertising this game. So this guy basically went into playing and reviewing the game with literal textbook definition prejudice. Prejudging before even taking the time to properly research, review, and experience the product itself. But I digress. Let's move on. Lies of P has a few negative status effects. So Lies of P has few negative status effects, so they're distributed amongst its various levels. There's the overheat level, the corrosion level, the electric shock level, and so on, almost as if it's following a script. There are items to counteract said effects, of course, because you need them, just like those other games. Much of the game's level design lacks inspiration. And what exactly would you call inspiration, dear game journalist? What would you call inspiration? Huh? You're claiming all this negative shit. Why not, instead of complaining, offering alternatives, offering suggestions? You know, it could be something like, while it is easy to see where the developers were going with the visual design, with the architecture, with the atmosphere they're utilizing here, it's easy to see what they're going for. However, a few elements could take this up a notch from simply, whatever their current opinion is, to, from simply what it is to greatness. It's almost like I need to be in there writing this review for him. And like I mentioned on Oliver's stream when I first saw this piece of garbage, I could cobble together better reviews, pulling it out of my backside and stitching it together with toilet paper and twine. Well, let's continue. Much of the game's level design lacks inspiration. Okay. The general theme seems to be Belle Epoque period piece, except it's puppets instead of people. You visit a puppet factory, a circus of a sort, a police station, all looking very appropriate for the time, but you're not fighting humans or monsters, only puppet imitations of them, literally and figuratively. Again, Lies of P makes it very obvious that they are leaning into the whole puppet theme of Pinocchio. And yet you are wasting a paragraph complaining about the game being what it says on the tin. Come on, son! In this story, puppets have rebelled. Ugh. Editing. Proofreading. Proofreading, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Ace reads the article. Take two. And action. In this story, puppets have rebelled against their makers, broke their moral code, and started attacking people. Okay, so we got a little something interesting here. You know, he's actually going into talking about the setting and the events that take place or that transpire in, or at the very least, at the outset of the narrative for the Lies of P. Now we're getting somewhere. We're actually getting some information. He mentions, the puppets rebelling against their masters, breaking their moral code, attacking people. And you kind of think, that sounds like Asimov's first law of robotics. That's an interesting take on it. Tell me more. You ask this particular you ask this particular journalist to tell you more, and you're gonna find yourself regretting it within 2 sentences. Trust me. But let's continue. The few left are in hiding, but as P, you are the only sentient puppet that's seemingly not gone berserk. Okay. So we're combining a little bit of, Asimov's first law of robotics with Mega Man X. Tell me more. Okay, let's go. There's great distrust between people and machines, which the game presents as justification for lying or telling the truth to matter. Occasionally, certain conversations will offer two choices. One is clearly a lie, and the other the truth. The game suggests that your decisions change the ending, but the choices I've come across all seem perfunctory, leading to the same outcome and only changing the dialogue. I've yet to see any real effect of my lies, but maybe that's some secret the game is keeping for players to discover on their own. I just didn't care to. Stop right there! Let's just pause for a moment. But maybe that's some secret the game is keeping for players to discover on their own. I just didn't care to. That's like saying, Mortal Kombat is all, Mortal Kombat became famous because of its fatalities. Fatalities tend to be pretty cool to pull off in a fight, if not a little cartoonishly gory. I wonder how you pull them off. I'm not going to look in the options menu for the commands. I'm not going to look online for the information people may have posted. I'm not going to try and press the buttons myself to figure it out. You lazy son of a bitch. Exactly. It's one thing to not like a game. Then there's being over-obsessed with something you hate. And I say this again, directed at the writer of this article, you lazy son of a bitch. Let's continue. Even in the rare, unique NPC encounter and a neat, but not very compelling, minigame about answering riddles on the telephone, Lies of P can't help but lean on familiar tropes. Since when has this game advertised that it is doing anything aside from that? Leaning on familiar tropes, but putting them together in a different way so as to have basically created their own recipe. It's like, okay, if we're talking Bloodborne and Lies of P, it's like you're comparing two hamburgers. One's charbroiled, the other's grilled on the other patty was grilled on the stovetop. You still got two hamburgers, they're just put together differently, and they may taste a little different depending on who's cooking them. But you still got two hamburgers, and if you eat them, if you like hamburgers, you are not going to mind either one unless you mind certain ingredients that go into the making of said hamburgers. Right? Right. Y'all get the food analogy? Good, because I'm getting a little hungry myself. And this is after eating a whole bunch of coconut shrimp. But let's continue. You'll come across your characters driven mad. The rabble taking advantage of the chaos. A class of hunters who go after machines indiscriminately. A few environmental riddles that test your perception, and the occasional oblique dialogue about past events or important people to pad the lore. It all lacks that knowing nod and smile FromSoft has come to excel at. Maybe if you had actually watched Disney's Pinocchio, you'd get the smiling and nodding that's inherent in the material. You lazy son of a bitch! Right, or like that time I accidentally made seafood boudin balls. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Okay. We can do this. I'm sure we can do this. I'm sure I can make my way through the rest of this without completely losing my temper. Again. Let's find out, shall we? The other half of Lies of P is its combat. Much like the rest of the game, this is also an element that borrows from others without making a compelling argument for it. Perhaps if you had actually taken the time to, I don't know, give the game more than a cursory look. Hell, I've only been watching streams for Lies of P, and I can most certainly say that number one, the compelling argument for Lies of P's combat. I mean, you could sum it up like this: take Bloodborne, with just the stamina-based combat itself. And then you throw in this little wrinkle. Throw in putting together the different heads and different handles of different weapons for different effects, a la Vagrant Story. Haven't seen the weapon construction thing done quite like Vagrant Story in some time. So seeing something like that added to a more modern, Soulsborne, gothic adventure style action game like Lies of P, that could lead to some interesting things, right? It could if this doofus actually bothered getting to it, which I feel like it probably didn't. But let's move forward. This is standard stamina-based combat. You have light and special attacks. You can block and dodge or roll. The only remotely interesting twist here is that blocking does not negate damage. Instead, your health bar takes a hit, represented by a gray color. If you land a few hits on your attacker, you can regain that health back. Okay, that one little tidbit right there already sounds like it sets it apart from the games that it was inspired by. Might be interested in giving the combat in this game a shot, just on that mechanic alone. You've got more flexibility with your defense and weaving it into your offense. It's a sort of faint apparition of a similar system in Bloodborne, except, of course, in FromSoft's game, it made sense because you couldn't block, so there needed to be a way to incentivize players to stay on the offensive and trade blows with enemies. In Lies of P, you can dodge, negating all damage. Invincibility frames are generous, so blocking is immediately made redundant, especially if it also costs stamina as well as health. Now consider this. If you've got multiple defensive options in a game where combat features, if you've got dodging to completely evade damage, if you've got blocking to, say, maintain your position, sure, you're taking a little bit of damage, but you can recover that if you immediately go on the offensive. It's called risk versus reward. You don't put yourself at risk if you dodge and you've got enough iframes to just go through an attack. You take risk if you put up your defenses and you guard and you're taking hits on the shield or whatever you're using to block, but then you can swing through, counterattack, bang. You're getting that ebb and flow of combat. But considering who's writing this article here, I get the feeling you didn't understand that at all. I get the feeling you probably wouldn't understand that if we were sitting here talking about it. But I digress. Let's move on. Deeper into the game, you realize that blocking is actually going to be required because certain enemies, most notably bosses, fall back on the tired old trope of having rapid, longer attack chains than you can possibly dodge. So you're forced to block some and dodge others. Spell check. Proofreading, motherfucker. Do you speak it? Why? Why? What? I feel like an elementary school teacher grading a student's current events report. And my red marker is just going to town here. Well, this tells me that this journalist apparently isn't getting enough D, considering he didn't include the extra D in the word dodge. Let's keep going, shall we? Let's keep going. I'd be fine with dancing to that tune if that's the rhythm the game wants. But it quickly devolves into a guessing game of trying to fish for certain easily dodgeable attacks and tanking the faster ones that follow. Ever think that maybe you ever consider that maybe that actually is the rhythm that the game is trying to have you follow? Because of the simple fact that if you are going to fight like how the developers envision Pinocchio fighting as he's making his way through this particular setting, through this particular story, through this particular adventure, then you are going to have to get to the point where some moves you can dodge, but then you gotta realize that others you will just have to put up your shield, take the hit, and counter. I mean, hell, that's what any good boxing coach would teach you. There's either two ways to there's one of two ways to defend. Don't be there to take the hit, but some hits you'll see coming and you won't be able to avoid them. So you better put up that iron wall. Keep the refrigerator door closed so your opponent can't take your food. But let's keep going, shall we? What's more frustrating than anything, however, is just how animation-led combat is. You can't cancel out of most attacks, and you often unknowingly queue up follow-ups without wanting to. It doesn't help that bosses don't obey the same laws you do, and could go on multi-hit chains and only leave a small opening for you to retaliate. Others have massive area-clearing attacks that you can't help but eat if you want to keep up the momentum. And a few suffer from the same old pains of poor tracking that come with massive enemies twirling around you in a way that's hard to read or anticipate. That's a FromSoft quirk the devs could have chosen to leave out, but here we are. I get the feeling this dude was probably one of those people that was whining about getting filtered by the attack helicopter or Balteus in Armored Core 6 no less than 2 weeks ago. I almost want to look back through this fucker's history just to see what else he wrote about. Almost. But we'll be getting to that in a moment. Or at least, once we're done here. And yes, you could say I am speaking like a true Potemkin main, but if you're going to be playing as Potemkin, you gotta know, you gotta understand the name of the game. The name of the game is sacrifice a few hits, if necessary, to get the grab. And yeah, Chop, this is for Lies of P. So let's move on. The sluggishness is best represented in your knockback animation. The time it takes you to get back up after getting knocked on your arse is enough to eat another hit on wake up. It's infuriating. You are playing this game as a puppet, as an automaton. Not necessarily a trained fighter, not necessarily someone who's particularly agile. It kind of comes with the territory of, playing as a puppet, playing as Pinocchio. But again, if you bothered to even take a cursory look at the source material this game was based on, you mook, you would already go in there with an understanding of what to expect. But of course, let's go back to that first paragraph. Ahem. Outside of being aware of the idea that its nose grows every time P tells a lie, I'm not familiar with the story of Pinocchio, so I didn't have any expectations about the narrative one way or another. You lazy son of a bitch. Let's keep moving on. Actually, let me double check how long have I been cooking this dude. Almost a full hour already. Good. Needs more time in the oven. Lies of P tries to set its action apart by needlessly bolting Is this supposed to be emphatic or phasic? What the hell are you trying to write here? By needlessly bolting, I guess, phasic mechanics onto its already lackluster combat. There's Stagger, which is meant to reward you for landing successful hits by opening your enemy up for a major attack that deals heavy damage. In order to trigger that Stagger, however, you need to land a charged special attack. The window is so narrow, and the attack animation so lengthy, however, that I only managed to land it by luck. I got 2 words for you, homeboy. Skill issue. Next. And yeah. No, I am right there with JHD. Under normal circumstances, after reading that first paragraph, I would have just been like, nah, clicked away from it. But you see, that's why I'm reading this off of an archive link, not off the link to the actual website itself. Because fuck them getting my clicks. Let's keep going. Over time, your home base grows with more vendors, which unlocks an excessive list of upgrades. You can separate weapons from their handles. Here we go. Now he's actually, now we're actually getting back into him giving us information. You can separate weapons from their handles, which is a neat idea, but has such a minimal effect on combat that I never bothered with. I never bothered with it. Okay, let's go back to me speaking like a true Potemkin main. Check this out. If you are going to be playing Potemkin and the only move and the only move you know is Potemkin Buster, then you are playing Potemkin wrong. Because if all you are trying to do is Potemkin Buster without using any of his other maneuvers or any of the game's system mechanics to make sure that you can get in close enough to land the blasted grab, then the fault lies with the person at the controls. Sounds simple enough, right? Or let me go with something that might be a little bit more familiar. If you're going to be maining Zangief, yes, you'll want to go for the spinning pile driver. But how are you going to get in close enough to do the spinning pile driver? How are you going to get in close enough and still do damage in case you miss the SPD? That's where you have the spinning lariat for. If you've got a character that likes to do kicks, that's where you have the Tundra Storm to counter. If you got people that jump in, oh wait, there's his anti-air grab super. Create opportunities using the tools at your disposal. But when you say, but I never bothered with it, it raises the question: how much of an let's go back to the content of this paragraph itself. Over time, your home base grows with more vendors, which unlocks an excessive list of upgrades. You can separate weapons from their handles, which is a neat idea, but has such a minimal effect on combat that I never bothered with it. How would you know what effect on combat that has if you never bothered with it? Say it with me, children, you lazy son of a bitch! Let's move on. Then there are the passive upgrades to your P organ, effectively, your heart, which boost your stagger damage, reduced stamina cost on block, and so on. But that's not all. You also have your Legion arm, which can be equipped with different tools or weapons that turn it into a secondary weapon of sorts. You may fashion it into a shield, a hand cannon, or a grappling hook to drag enemies toward you. Every one of those mechanics has one or two layers of its own, too. I appreciate the effort that went into all those systems, but the core combat just isn't good enough, nor the encounter design interesting enough to warrant doing anything but sticking with the most efficient, least aggravating combo. That sounds to me like you didn't bother digging any deeper into the game. Ahem. Maybe, I don't know, going back and, experimenting with different combinations of weapon heads and handles might yield different results, might yield different ways to play the game, might yield different strategies which can either prove a little bit more or a little less time consuming to adapt to in order to aid your progress through the game, and maybe even increase your enjoyment thereof. But you never bothered with it. Let's move on. It's wasted potential, and I doubt most players will care about or even realize all that depth. Nigga, you don't care about or realize all that depth! I swear, I'm going through this review and it's like I am reverting more and more back to my ghetto Southern California self. What is going on with... What is this dude's malfunction? But thankfully, it looks like we're in the last few paragraphs. We're in the home stretch, kids. Let's go. I was reminded of The Surge 2 often during my time with Lies of P. They share an uncanny commitment to aping Souls-like systems and layering more and more of them on top of each other without making a real case for them. Okay, here's the thing. I haven't played The Surge 2. So, I don't have a dog in that. I don't have a dog in that fight. But I'm going to tell you this much. Every single game, the mechanics that are put into every single game, it doesn't matter how it could be ET, it could be Final Fantasy 16, it could be Atlas Rising, it could be Soul Calibur 5. Every game's mechanics are put there for a reason. Whether that reason is known to the player or to the developer solely, the reasoning is there. And if one would bother to uncover it, or even try and make a guess at it, then who knows? You may find yourself coming away learning something about the development process of the game. You might find yourself coming away with a new perspective on how to play said game. And then, maybe you come back to it the next day after, getting exhausted, trying to deal with some of the challenges. You come back to it the next day and it's like, maybe it's a good thing I slept on that. Because I was able to come back to it, try it again with a fresh set of eyes, and you know what? I made it through, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was at first. But that would require nuance, wouldn't it? That would require some sort of, mental maturity, wouldn't it? That would require maybe even just a little bit of optimism. Let's move on, shall we? One could charitably see both as well-meaning, if lacking the precision to execute on their aspirations. That may well be true, but it doesn't make playing the video game any more fun. Maybe not for you, because you didn't bother actually playing the game so much as just skimming through it. Say it with me again, children. Ahem. You lazy son of a bitch. Let's get into this last paragraph. There's some enjoyment to be found in Lies of P. He says begrudgingly, I'm sure. Its action is competent, but lacks the polish and stir of its contemporaries. Its atmosphere can be engrossing, but it's a hodgepodge of themes and aesthetics you've seen before that never rises above the familiar. I was never impressed by it, and I never stopped questioning the point of the entire endeavor throughout my time with it. 2 stars out of 5. And now, the recipient of my literary and journalistic ire, Sharif Syed. Sharif is VG247's go-to shooter and Souls-likes person. I am probably as far from being a resident Souls-like player as you could probably get. But I would take more time and care in playing and reviewing this game than Sharif must have. Word on the street and on the internet is that he probably didn't even finish the game before regurgitating this review onto the page. Whether it's news, reviews, or op-eds, Sharif is always eager to tell you about video games. Sharif is based in Egypt, a fact he's working diligently to change, if only to have more opportunities to hike. Sharif, why don't you go take a hike off a short, incomplete bridge? Or maybe take a hike to a library. Or take a hike to an actual journalism school. Bro, Sharif, my man, if I were your primary school teacher and I were to grade this paper, no. You want to try and write like you're one of the big dogs. Fine. We'll put you on that real grading curve. Let's put you in the big dogs arena. Ahem. Welcome to Journalism 101. I'm your professor, Mr. Nelson. This right here, this was your first term paper, homeboy. 2 weeks into the class, this was your first term paper. You've got proofreading errors. You've got basic spelling errors. You've got basic research errors. Sorry, a distinct, blatant lack of research and due diligence. The fact that I would have visibly had to mark red circles on this paper and say, go back to grade school, polish up your spelling, polish up your word use. You, sir, would be at the lowest end of the grading curve in my class. But if we were going on straight metrics, this would land you a 55. 60 is a D in this class. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You didn't get the D because you didn't put it in the word dodge. $60 is a D. Remember how to use that letter. Passing grade in this class is a C, which is 75. You have failed, and I swear on everything that is holy and ethical in this world, if you turn in another paper like this, young man, I will be forced, as I say with malicious glee, to fail you out of this course. Get your shit together, and do not darken the doorstep of my office until you learn how to write a competent review. Not op-ed, review. Dismissed. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, we are, oh, well, if I had actually started, reading up on and reviewing this article a little bit earlier, you could say I have actually had this dude in the oven for a full hour. Ding, the timer's gone off. He's cooked. He's done. So here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to bring the stream down for a couple of moments, and then we are going to come back, and we're going to finish playing the rest of Star Ocean, the second story R. We're about an hour left from the end of the demo, so we can easily do that over the rest of the evening. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. Trust me. It's going to be a lot of smiling. It's going to be a lot of positive energy now that we've expelled all the negative. But needless to say, everything that I said today over the course of this stream, over the course of this, well, mini podcast, I guess, everything that I have said thus far was necessary. If I hadn't said it, someone else would have. Someone else probably is. But this is the kind of thing that needs to be said. This is the kind of thing that needs to be called out because it's quite simple. If we as hobbyists, as enthusiasts, as consumers, if we are going to be going into purchasing any sort of game that's coming out that we might even have an inkling of interest in, and if we are actually going to decide to put our trust in so-called professional publications, then we need to be able to confirm for a fact that the people reporting on the games that we are going to be spending our money on are actually going to be doing so and giving us information. Not opinion. Information, so that we can form our own educated opinions on before making our purchases. Because if all we have to deal with is layabouts like Sharif Syed, then it's very likely that games where we may very well be so much the better for actually purchasing because we will enjoy them, we will be missing out on those experiences we could have had because we're too busy trying to see things from this guy's perspective. That perspective being, his head firmly tucked up his ass. At any rate, it's 8:15 Pacific? We're going to be coming back at 8:30 Pacific, so that gives us 15 minutes. We'll be back in 15 with Star Ocean, the second story R. The demo's just getting better and better. And I'm looking forward to playing through the rest of that with you guys right here at Ace's Place. So you know what? Instead of bringing down the stream, we'll just go to intermission like usual. And I'll see you back here at 8:30. What's good, neighborhood? Man, whew. The Trailblazer was firing on all cylinders earlier. But, for those of you that are still here in the chat, I'm glad that y'all are sticking with me for the rest of this. So, I'm sure y'all noticed the September goal has been reset since yesterday. Because, you know, outside of certain games I was trying to get my hand on, the two big purchases going towards improving the channel and improving the channel's content have been procured. Those being, of course, the green screen behind me and the 2TB SSD currently sitting in the PS5, which means I was able to reinstall all the things. Or lots of things. Yeah, I reinstalled lots of things, especially earlier. I mean, hell, I even went back, reinstalled Hades, God Eater 2, Phantasy Star Online 2, and even Black Desert. And also, somewhere in here is Marvel's Avengers, which is set to be removed from online storefronts as of the end of this month. Really quickly, before we get started, Marvel's Avengers is actually currently on sale for like less than $5. And considering the amount of content that is in the game, at $5, you are definitely going to be getting your money's worth out of Marvel's Avengers. Personally, I would say if we were going one-to-one value proposition measurement, at this point, because of what was promised and not delivered with the game, Marvel's Avengers would probably be one-to-one value proposition at $20. So, seeing it on sale for $5, hell, you are going to get more than your money's worth out of it. And honestly, the campaign itself in Avengers actually is not bad at all. They tell a great story, and there's plenty of solid content in the game. But the problem is they just couldn't follow through. And trying to run it as a live service game without taking into consideration certain things that have kept other live service games like Warframe running for as long as they have, that right there is what killed it. That, and of course, you know, Square Enix basically leaving Crystal Dynamics in the lurch. But anywho, that's enough about that. I'm pretty sure that y'all are here to see me play through the rest of the demo for Star Ocean: The Second Story R. So let's get on with it. We're gonna have ourselves some damn good times. I can feel it. So, for those of you that might have missed it yesterday when I was playing through the first part of the demo, I am going to sum it up for you like this. Chop said it best while he was watching it yesterday. This looks and plays like a PS1 game in the best of ways. Ooh. Okay, that's the autosave. I legit forgot that this thing has autosave. Now, where were we? Oh, hello.
Be careful.
Oh, and it kept my battle gauge bonus, too. Yes! Do forgive me for rocking out to this victory theme. This rearrangement is fucking banging. Sorry.
Here they come. That's one for us.
Okay, almost there, almost there.
Power.
I you got that level up too. Perfect. Oh yeah, if I remember right, the level limit for the demo is 12.
Be careful.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Well, I'd say that's worth 10 out of 10.
Nice. So we got our first battle gauge bonus too. This gonna be good. This gonna be good. You know what? Let's go and revisit some of these respawned enemies.
Be careful. Got you. Well, I'd say that's worth 10 out of 10.
Come on, link up, link up, link up. Ah, dang it! Oh, crap! It
Careful, everyone.
ambushed. Shake it off, Claude. Shake it off. Oh, I lost the battle gauge anyway.
I'd say that was 8 out of 10.
I wonder if I should reload.
Be careful. How about this? Meteor bomb! That was easier than I thought.
I almost want to reload so I can get that battle gauge bonus back, but nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Reina!
Let's get up here and let's rock and roll.
That's close enough. So you're out. Let Reina go. Do you have any idea what you're doing?
If you'll excuse me, sir, we are in the middle of a holy ceremony. In just a moment, we will be together as one. I would appreciate it if you would show some respect. Now then, my Reina.
No! Mr. Kenny, help me!
Stop it! This isn't anything holy! You can't force someone into marriage like this!
Force? I think you're a tad mistaken here. We are in love with each other. Love with each other. Love!
Alan?
Love with...
Oh no!
Mr. Kenny!
Let's hurry up and get you off that table, kiddo.
Damn it! Look out!
I'm not gonna lose.
Don't let your guard down!
Yes. Okay, so R2 and the left stick switches characters. Time stops during input. Okay, that's good. Switch characters according to their order in the character list during battle, or according to their positions on the battlefield. Nice. I like where this is going. Ooh. Got him.
You alright?
Yo, Reina almost got one shot there. Got took down to like... Oh, that's probably why she just leveled up like 3 times during that fight.
Ooh, great!
Oh, yeah, she was at level 1. Oh, that could have ended badly.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Woo. just
What
a
happened to this
tiny
guy, Raina?
bit underleveled.
I don't know. Ever since he came to Arlia, it's like he was possessed by something.
But people don't just turn into this kind of monster. What's going on here?
Alan, you were such a good person, too.
Raina,
Why did this have to happen?
Yep, seems to be just a,
Alan!
a design quirk at the time.
he's still breathing.
Where am I? Huh? Raina, why are you here?
Alan! You're back!
What do you mean? Oh, my head's spinning. I feel like I've been stuck in a dream for days.
It's a long story, bruv.
I guess that stone was what caused all this trouble. Once it's gone, that was enough to turn him back to normal.
I'm so happy for you.
Let's go back to the mansion. We can figure everything out over there.
I did all of that?
Yes, you did, I'm afraid. It was a terrible experience.
Oh, speaking of,
Wow. I can't remember a thing.
speaking of JRPG pro tags with blonde hair, oh, I should let y'all know, and I will start streaming it. Oh, I know we usually do like New Game Plus content and stuff on Sundays for, New Week Plus, but I'm actually thinking I might start streaming one new game that I picked up. Well, not quite new per se, but one game that I just recently picked up actually earlier today that I was really wanting to sit down and stream for you guys. So I decided to go on the PlayStation Store, look through their PS4 catalog, and I found my OG favorite from the PS2 era. So, coming up very soon at Ace's place, we're going to be rocking some Rogue Galaxy. Man, it has been years since I actually sat down to really play that in earnest, and I know it's going to be a hell of a time, man. Actually, Andre, that is a very good idea. If you're going to be doing anything of the sort, as far as fasting, try not to do it in conditions where it's like, 100 or more degrees.
You're telling me I had Bosman build that altar for me?
Yep, it was about 2 weeks ago that you sent me the order. Now that I think about it, that was around the time I started to notice you acting strangely. Like you were in your own little world or something.
It must have been that stone. Whatever power that stone's emitting was enough to mentally transform you.
I think you're right about that. The first time I saw that stone, it was like something swelled up inside my head. I felt like I could literally do no wrong. That I was right, and everyone else was to do my bidding. I don't remember much after that, but I don't think I'll ever be able to forget what it felt like at that single moment.
Alan.
Raina, I'm sorry. I know I was unconscious during that time, but I feel terrible for doing those things to you.
Don't feel bad, Alan. Besides, you're back to normal, and I know the real Alan would never do anything like that.
Thank you.
We better hurry back to Arlia. Your mom's worried about you, Reina.
Yeah.
I need to go explain what happened to everyone in Salva. Hopefully they'll be understanding.
Reina!
Well, looks like we owe you our thanks once again. You saved Reina's life not once, but twice now.
Oh, no. I hardly did anything worth thanking me for.
So is that what started this whole little episode? That little stone he found in the Salva mines?
That's the only explanation I can think of. When the stone shattered, Alan snapped back to normal.
First you go mad, then you transform into a monster. That stone almost reminds me of the sorcery globe.
Yes, it does seem to be that way. Perhaps the two are related somehow.
Huh?
The sorcery globe.
That's just something that popped into my mind anyway.
The 16-8 fast.
It sounds like the town of Salva is in an uproar right now. As if Alan didn't cause enough chaos, rumors about the hero have made it over there as well.
I'm sorry. I know you had warned me about that.
Do not take that as a criticism. It was unavoidable with your mind focused upon saving Reina's life. Still, the story has spread too far now. Hiding it any longer will prove to be very impractical.
That actually sounds like the, sounds like an intermittent fasting method that one of my old coworkers was actually doing. Normally, like, basically he was like, he would only, if it came to, like, eating any sort of actual meals, it would only be between like 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. and then between that, it's mostly just like fluids, like water.
I see.
Would you mind investigating the sorcery globe for us, Mr. Kenny? I know this is an awfully selfish request, but frankly, I cannot think of anyone more fitting for the task. I as well believe Alan's fit of madness has something to do
Makes
with
sense.
the sorcery globe. If you could save him, then perhaps you could do yet more.
Actually, it sounds to me like, whether or not it's the 16-8, or if you're,
Mr. Kenny?
whether or not it's the 16-8, or,
The sorcery globe. As of now, the sorcery globe seems to be the only thing on this planet that has any connection to outer space. I don't have anything else that's even close to a lead right now.
basically,
Knowing
if you
what
do
I know
just like you
now,
said,
it's
just
hard to think of the sorcery globe
don't
as
worry about the
just
number on
a
the
normal
scale so
meteorite.
much as just,
Finding more about it could prove to be more
creating a
valuable than
habit
you
and a
thought.
routine for yourself and working in, working in
Alright,
those healthier
I'll do
foods,
it.
working in those healthier habits, cutting out those, cutting out certain foods.
But first, let me just remind you that I'm not the hero.
That right
Saving the
there
world
sounds
is
like
just way beyond me, I'm afraid. But I think the sorcery globe might provide some useful information for my own personal reasons.
it
If
sounds
I
like
can
that
help
right
everyone else in
there
the process,
is,
then I figure it'd be worthwhile,
literally the best way
you
to
know?
go about any sort of diet or fast,
Thank
frankly.
you very much, Mr. Kenny. We will help you out as best we can.
Thank you, but I'm not making any promises.
Could you take me with you, Mr. Kenny?
Raina!
You heard what the mayor just said. I want to help out as best I can.
But Raina, it's going to be dangerous.
I fully understand that, but I just know I will be of some help to you along the way. You don't know very much about this land, do you, Mr. Kenny? So you're gonna need some kind of guide in your travels. I could at least provide you with that, right?
I suppose so, yes, but... Come on, Mayor. Help me out here.
That's right, Mr. Kenny.
Yeah,
Why don't you take her along if that's what she wants?
yeah. His name is Claude Kenny.
Mayor,
I'm sure she'll be a tremendous asset on the road. Please, think it over, son.
Okay, I got it. But get your mom's permission first, Raina. I'm not gonna let you come with me unless she gives the green light.
yeah, I know.
In that case, you should probably head for Cross first. That's a pretty large
Yeah.
so I'm sure you'll find some leads there. Take care on your way home, Raina. It's starting to get chilly, so don't catch cold now.
Oh, I'll be all right. My house is right over there, you know.
All right.
I'm not being a burden on you, am I? I know I kind of forced you into this.
No, of course not.
Listen,
Yes?
Oh, Raina, are you still here? I thought you'd be back home by now.
Have a good night.
What's the matter with her? Oh, well, I can't have myself catch a cold out here. Back inside for me. And for you, too.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I just noticed that little friendship
Little chat
level
before bed?
call out.
Sure.
You know, when that girl volunteered to go with you, there was a part of me that knew she'd do exactly what she did.
Why is that?
Raina helped heal Alan's injuries, didn't she?
Yeah.
That healing power she has, nobody else in the village has it.
How do you mean?
Allow me to be frank. Raina is not Wester's real daughter. Wester found her inside the sacred forest. Raina was only 2 years old then.
Ah. Little itty bitty Raina.
Even I was genuinely surprised when Wester showed up with a toddler in tow. When Wester told everyone she'd raise the child as her own,
But yeah,
nobody
I'm sure you
raised
can pull it
so
off,
much as a
Andre. Just
single objection. I suppose they
Just
felt
take your time.
sympathy for the couple,
take your time
as
with
they
it.
had never
You know,
been blessed
don't
with
be
a
so.
child of their own.
You know, if you wind up missing a day, don't be so hard on yourself
Does
about it. Just
Raina know about this?
again, build up that discipline, build up that
No,
routine. You can pull it
She
off.
hasn't been told. I thought it was still too early. She could already say her own
Excuse
name
me.
when we found her, so we know for a fact that Raina is her real name. Other than that, we have no idea where she came from, nor the reason she possesses the healing power that she has. In other words, everything about her is a total mystery to us.
You don't have any clue at all?
Her only possession was the pendant around her neck. But that does not give any insight about her past. There isn't anything aside from that.
I had no idea.
Look how late it is. I'm sorry to take up so much of your time. I've already prepared the bed upstairs for you. So please. Please, take good care of Raina for me.
I promise, I will. Raina.
All right.
That's odd. It sounds like something's hitting the window. Is it coming from the balcony? Raina? What's wrong?
I want to talk to you. Can you come down for a moment?
I'll be right there.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, now. Now, me being the absolute dumbass that I am, I would have probably hopped the railing and just slid down the roof. Just don't worry, I'll be right down in 2 seconds. Let's just make sure I don't land on my head.
Huh? Where did the mayor go? Raina?
Oh. Took the long way around.
Oh, there she is. So, what did you want to talk about at this hour?
Well, I told my mother I'm going, and, she was pretty surprised.
I would think so. Did she say no?
She didn't say anything, but then the mayor came by.
Oh.
Oh.
Listen, Mr. Kenny, there's a reason why I want to come along with you.
A reason? What do you mean?
My mom, she's not my real mother.
Aha! And that's where Raina found out
I
too.
don't think either of them realize I know, but I overheard them discussing it a long time ago.
Oh. Oh, that's right. That's right. Hey, what's good, Chop? Welcome back.
Father,
What am I supposed to do?
keep your voice down. We wouldn't want Reyna to hear us.
That girl's passed out on her bed, now that she's finally had enough of crying for her dead father.
I am sure this is just as much a shock for you as it is for her. But you are her mother. You need to stay calm for her sake.
Stay calm? How am I supposed to stay calm? My husband is dead.
Wester.
Without him, what am I going to do? I still haven't told her yet. Now that he's gone, I'll have to tell her all by myself. Can you imagine having to tell your daughter that she's not your real child? I knew I should have thrown away that damn pendant. Why didn't I get rid of the last connection to her real parents? She would have been mine, my real daughter.
So you want to search for your real mother?
I don't know. I don't have anything to go on besides this pendant. But the fact that whoever gave birth to me cared enough to give me this pendant, I think she must have loved me, at the very least.
What about the mom you have now? West is the one that raised you. I can tell she has a lot of love and affection for you. What about her feelings?
I love her. She's the only mother I have.
So why all this then?
I want to know what I really am. Where was I born? Why was I in the sacred forest? Where did this power of mine come from? But more than anything else, I want to know what happened to the woman who gave birth to me. I'm not going with you because I want to leave my village. I'm going because one day I will come back here again. It's getting late. I'm sorry I brought all this up.
No, it's
as solid a reason as any.
Good night.
Take care of Reyna for us, Mr. Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Be careful out on the road.
Of course. I'll be fine as long as Mr. Kenny is with me.
I suppose so.
Reyna.
Don't worry, Mom. I promise I'll be back soon. Saying goodbye like this makes it all the better when I say hello again, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Come back soon. Okay, Reyna? Thanks, Lucian. Remember to be a good boy, all right? Okay.
Go on now. Wouldn't want to keep Mr. Kenny any longer than we have to. You'd want to reserve enough time for the trip to cross, no? It's best if you set off as soon as you can.
Actually, a couple nights ago, I
So
just
the first thing to do
sat
is
down
visit
and,
the King of Cross at the castle, right?
you know, someone had put together, you know, all the cutscenes from story
That's
mode in
correct.
Mortal Kombat 1, so
He
I just
will
sat down and
certainly welcome you once you show him
sat down
my
and watched
letter of
that.
introduction.
But yeah,
You'll be able to gather the latest information on what's going
New
on
Raiden?
from him.
I like him.
Oh, definitely.
New Raiden's
I
a
know
good
the king pretty well myself.
Let's go then, Reyna.
See you later, Mom.
But I'm sorry, like,
Take care, Reyna.
I'm still
Best of luck to you,
Johnny
Mr. Kenny.
Johnny Cage for life, man.
Thank you, sir.
But nah, new Raiden. Like, ooh, nice. So we got ourselves a shortcut for quick healing. Nice. Let's look at our equipment. We're definitely going to need to pick up some more equipment for her once we get to Salva. Let's go ahead and get that save in. And where are we at now? 2 hours 16. So we got 45 minutes left in the demo. Here we go. Come and get it!
You ready for this?
Be careful.
We better be careful.
Here they come. Well, I'd say that's worth 10 out of 10.
Ooh, great!
Yep, get them level ups. Right? Oh, nice. I hit the options button and it does that little map zoom in.
Here they come.
We better be careful. Weaker than
Well,
I
I'd say
thought.
that's worth 10 out of 10.
Damn, Reno over here dropping massive weights. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Leveled up that meteor palm a bit more. I like the increased healing there. Oh, but GQ, if you're still here, check it, check it.
Be careful, everyone.
Okay, first off, ambush no good, especially on a three chain fight. I was wondering where Dairo sounded so familiar from. Oh, but yeah, like I was saying though, just GQ with the way that this remake is turning out, you know, just the little bits and improvements here. I was talking about this last night, and I want to run it by you too. Imagine Xenogears getting redone like this, man.
Here they come.
We got enemies.
Meteor palm.
We better be careful.
We can win. Air slash. Meteor palm.
Crush!
That's
It's
one
all
for
over.
us.
All right, that was a full 3-round fight right there. Right? No, I'm sitting here thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, if if Xenogears got redone like this, yo, like no lie, imagine how awesome the gears would look. I mean, the world map and the settings and everything else would be great, but the gears, man. Weltall 2. Just period. Full stop. Oh boy.
We can win this.
We better be careful.
Whew.
It's easier than I thought.
Easy win.
Speaking of that Final Fantasy VII remake, I think I should probably go ahead and see about trying to get Final Fantasy VII on Steam, so that way I can start like adding the mods and everything else that I've been finding for it, so I can really sit down and play through it. Alright, let's pop up here into Salva real fast. Ooh, here we go. So let's hit that save point, and we are at 2 hours 21. Let's visit the equipment shop. The mods that I'm talking about are for the original Final Fantasy VII. Antidote, paralysis cure, stone cure, item creation materials, and accessories. Switch to private action mode.
What's wrong, Reina?
Oh, nothing. Just thinking about my father.
I have to hand it to you, Reina. Losing your father must have been terrible, but you've been dealing with it so calmly.
Oh, not at all. I cried all the time back when it happened. What's your father like, Mr. Kenny?
My father? He's a great man, respected by everyone who knows him.
Wow, I'm jealous. He sounds wonderful. You must be really proud of him, Mr. Kenny.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Maybe too brilliant.
Admiral, we've entered orbit around planet Milokenia.
All right. Give me a surface scan.
This is an M-sized planet. Breathable E-type atmosphere. Looks like it's got a lot of ore deposits, especially chromium. I'm detecting life forms, but no evidence of sentient life.
The usual, then. I'll add the data to our star map.
Wait a minute, Admiral. There's a point on the surface that's turning up dark in the scan.
What do you mean?
There's an energy field present. But why would there be one here? Do we know anything about this field?
Checking our database.
No matches found. All right, we'll have to land on Milokenia and check it out ourselves. Get us down as quickly as possible.
But yeah, the mods that
I'm appointing you to the landing party.
the mods that I found for Final Fantasy VII
If I
on
may,
Steam.
Admiral, my duty is to assist you at your command post, not to explore unknown planets.
And it's like the mods that I'm looking for are like, stuff like HD upresing on the textures. Let's see, soundtrack switching, hell, just straight up full voice acting for the original game.
I'm going down to Milokenia too, Ensign. You're coming with me.
Admiral, what if something happens to you down on the surface?
We're here to discover the unknown, to unlock the secrets of the universe. Who could ask for anything more? I'm just an old man who's too decrepit for the battlefield. Are you trying to deny me the last bit of fun I can have in my life?
But sir... Never mind. Understood, Admiral.
Kurtzman, you take the bridge.
Be careful down there, sir.
Right. Let's get moving.
Better hop too. Oh, I can actually speed the sequence up.
So tell me, what logical reason is there for Claude to be in the landing party?
Beats me. Probably dear old dad trying to prop up his son's service record.
Ah, too bad we all couldn't be the Admiral's son, right?
Well, nothing we can really do about it. Even someone like Admiral Ronix J. Kenny can't help but spoil the kid a little.
Is something wrong?
No. Nothing.
Okay, that's nice. I like how literally switching between private action mode and switching between private actions and normal gameplay is just literally with the press of a button. Like it makes it easy to help determine whether or not there are any PAs available in a certain area too. Alright, so where are we at now? 2 hours 28. Like pop back here and hit that save point. Oh, this one... Of course, this one isn't one of those that recovers you. Because there is an inn right here. Oh, only 20 bones a night? Yeah. We can work with that. Speaking of mods for games on Steam, I cannot wait until they finally finish putting everything together for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Community Edition. Ooh. Oh man, that is going to be something else. Like that will be the kind of game that I will get Parsec for that. Parsec or Fightcade, whichever one will let me get a good online connection so that way I can play against people. I mean, hell, with the way the community modes, with the way Community Edition's set up, you'll actually be able to like play through even the single player stuff with the modded characters, and the game won't, the game won't crash out.
We better be careful.
That's one for us.
Easy win.
Hello.
We better be careful.
Be careful. Be careful.
Bam.
Better be careful.
Bring it.
That's one for us.
Yeah, let's get everybody leveled up a little bit. No, seriously, this. The way this game was remade, it just looks. It looks
Well,
fantastic.
I'd say that's worth 10 out of 10.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Ah. Gotcha.
Here they come.
We got enemies.
Well, I'd say that's worth 10 out of 10.
All right, let's try and get that battle gauge built up one more time. Let's be right in the middle of the continent. Huh.
You ready for this?
We can win this. Well, I'd say that's worth 10 out of 10. The power!
Okay, so Reyna dropping that crush spell triggers break. Good to know. And here we are in Cross.
The trip took a lot longer than I thought.
There's nobody around.
The castle looks like it's locked up too.
Let's stay at the inn for the night. We can visit the castle tomorrow.
Why, it's Reyna! You've been quite a stranger lately.
Sorry I haven't been around, Aunt Rachel. How are things going?
Oh, as well as always, I'd say. Oh, found a new man, did you? Worrying Westa to no end, no doubt.
He's not my boyfriend.
Oh, you didn't have to shout it like that.
Damn. Poor Claude.
Oh, nothing.
Well, you're in luck. I've got a lovely vacant room just for the two of you. How about I let you stay there for the night? On the house.
Are you sure that's okay?
Oh, nothing but the best for my niece on her special night.
I told you already, it's not like that at all.
Yo, and Claude's just back there like, just burnt up.
Not at all, huh?
Come to think of it, Mr. Flack paid a visit to town a couple of weeks earlier.
Diaz was here?
But he left soon afterwards. Not that he had any particular destination in mind.
Alright, Chop, you go in and get yourself some sleep. Yeah, we're almost at 9:30, so it's very likely we're going to be cutting it, it's very likely we're going to be going ahead and cutting it pretty soon, too.
I see.
Well, make yourselves comfy.
Thank you so much, Aunt Rachel.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Take care of Raina for me, all right?
Yes, of course. By the way, I couldn't help but wonder, who's Mr. Flack?
You mean Diaz?
She mentioned the name earlier, so I was just curious.
His full name's Diaz Flack. He used to live in Arlia like me. Something terrible happened to him, though, a long time ago, and because of that, he left the village.
Well, I'll try to avoid the subject then.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I make one request, though?
What is it?
You really don't have to call me Mr. Kinney. It just makes me feel weird when I call you Raina.
Okay, I'll remember that from now on.
Well, let's get ready for bed then. It's getting late.
Looks like it. Good night, Claude.
Good night, Raina.
Well, how did things go?
How did things go? Lady, you need to stop.
We had a great night's sleep, Aunt Rachel. Thanks for asking.
Oh, you know that's not what I meant.
Well, if it turns out that the data from this is going to carry over to the main game, I should probably do something about buffing up my gear a little bit. Don't quite have enough for the padded armor yet. But if I sell off some gear... That should put me at 400. Huh? Well, we should be in good shape. Alright, let's see here. So we've got the armory. And up here we have Ah, the guild. So we'd be going here to learn skills at a later point in the game. That's right. Ooh, excuse me.
Excuse me.
Hello, Ernest.
Oh, sorry. He had 3 eyes.
Oh, now I can switch to PA mode. Let's save before we do that. Oh. Well, there's Reyna, but doesn't look like we've got any private actions to work with. Or do we? Let's just go on and make our way up.
This is the front desk for the audience chamber.
This is the place. I'll write our names in for you.
Ah, I see you're here on behalf of Mayor Regis of Alia.
Yes, sir. I'd like to have an audience as soon as possible, if I may.
Very well. If you could kindly wait until I make the arrangements.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to look around the castle until the time comes.
That would be great. Thank you. We're in, Claude.
Okay, so I look around the castle, they probably mean, yeah, walk around and talk to some folks. Oh, damn. Looks like we're already good to go.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Just remember to be careful.
Pardon me.
What's up?
It is an honor, Your Majesty.
Ah, it's you, Reyna. It has been a long time, hasn't it? I can hardly recognize you. You've grown to be even more beautiful than what I've heard from Regis.
I'm glad to see you in good spirits, sire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's no need for
Yeah.
formalities, Reyna.
Yeah, it is a spiritual successor to Suikoden. It looks good.
Yes, sire. We have begun to conduct an investigation into the sorcery globe. As part of that, we were wondering if Your Majesty could give us whatever information on the globe and its properties that you currently possess.
Heavens, you're the one conducting this investigation?
Yes, sire, and we are treating the job with as much resolve and determination as it deserves.
Well, if that be the case, then it wouldn't do to hold anything back from you. I don't need to remind you of all the earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that have occurred worldwide lately. However, the exact cause of this activity remains a total mystery even to us.
Have you given any thought to
Wait,
the
there's
idea
a
that the
prequel setup
sorcery
for
globe is behind all
Eiyuden
this?
Chronicle? Neat.
Well, without some kind of evidence to back up that theory, it is difficult to be 100% sure about anything.
I see Celine down there creeping in the corner.
I hear that people and monsters are fighting a pitched struggle in El Kingdom territory at present. Unfortunately, few details have been given on the scope of the battle
EC Rising.
or the
Okay.
number of casualties
Definitely something to look up.
Are there any ships right now that can take us to El?
There are, but they have been strictly regulated. Wild rumors have a way of spreading quickly during wartime, needless to say. I am afraid we know very little about the machinations of the sorcery globe ourselves. Or rather, it would be more accurate to say we know nothing at all.
Haven't you sent a team to investigate it?
I have, but unfortunately, any hope for their return seems to have perished at this point.
Interesting word choice
To sum
there.
up the current situation, despite all our best efforts, we have failed to obtain even a trace of information about the sorcery globe.
I see.
That's why we've decided to enlist the help of any willing adventurers in the area.
That explains all of the adventurers we saw in town.
I hardly need to remind you, Reyna, that your
Right.
investigation into the sorcery globe is an extremely dangerous endeavor. If it were up to me, I would sincerely suggest that you call off this investigation immediately.
Don't worry, I'll be all right. I have Mr. Kenny on my side here.
Oh, so you have that much faith in his strength. In any case, it looks like you could do with some better equipment.
Here, His Majesty has granted you a travel permit, along with a small parting gift.
Nice.
But Your Majesty!
Please, take it. It's a perfectly fitting payment for helping us root out the cause of this cataclysm.
Thank you so much, Your Majesty.
If you're traveling to the El Kingdom, the interim transport ship departing from Kuruk would be best.
We appreciate your generous support, Your Majesty. I hardly even opened my mouth.
It's not just you. Even I felt like I had butterflies in my stomach.
10 minutes left in the demo version. 10 minutes left. This is your 10-minute warning. Well, part of this was seeing just how far I'd be able to get.
What is the meaning of this? I believe I procured this fair and square.
What the hell are you talking about, lady? You practically stole it from me!
Stole? Exactly when did I partake in something anywhere even close to stealing?
Enough of your crap! Hand it over or you're dead!
Wait a minute. I can't just let this go on.
Claude?
Hmm?
Who the hell's this little brat?
Hey, you! That's no way to speak to a lady, you know.
What was that?
Let's be a little more civilized here, alright?
Are you talking to me, kid?
Who else?
If I recall correctly, you were gonna fight me, not this little boy.
What? I'll kill you, you little...
If you want to pick a fight, you'd best choose your opponents more carefully. Not that I'm particularly enthralled with getting in a fight over something I didn't do.
You're gonna pay for this!
Hopefully that taught him something. I must thank you, my boy. You were quite the courageous one.
Boy?
Your bravery has struck a chord inside of me. Truly brilliant.
It was nothing.
You're blushing, Claude.
By the way, are you the couple who had an audience with the king earlier?
How'd you know that?
I just happened to be on a tour of the castle at the time, and I overheard some guards gossiping about two people who got special permission to jump ahead in the king's schedule.
And you realized that was us?
I wondered what made that pair so special, so I sneaked into the throne room to find out for myself.
That's impressive.
I have some information that I believe you will appreciate. Without going into too many details, I just happened to get my hands on this map from an auction that I attended not long ago.
Thus explaining
Supposedly,
why.
this map shows the way to an ancient treasure hidden inside a certain cave. Would you be interested in joining me as I explore the cave?
We really don't have time to go treasure hunting right now.
Oh? Are you sure? You might uncover a hint or two related to your own goal. Well, would you like to come along?
And here we have our first decision point. The first decision point is Star Ocean 2. Now, since this is going to be my first playthrough on it, of course, I'm going to say, alright, let's go.
An ancient treasure. Maybe it'll provide me with some leads. Sounds like fun. I'll take the offer.
Ah, I knew you'd come around. My name is Celine Jules. I'm a treasure hunting enthusiast. Now then, let me show you the map one more time. See this? First, we'll set off for the Cross Cave, which lies east of Cross.
Cross Cave? You mean that natural cave? Everyone knows that place.
Indeed, it's the very one.
I would have thought that anything worth excavating in there was long gone by now.
Well, supposedly this map just recently came to light for the first time.
Wow.
Right. Let's make sure we have all the equipment we need before we depart.
I could get used to having you two around.
I'm not feeling very good about this.
Hmm? Did you say something?
Me? No. let's go.
Five-minute warning! And now we're into item creation. Oh. Item creation and guild missions now. So how about this? We've only got a few minutes left in the demo. Oh, we are literally at 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 6 seconds. But with that being said, as far as the stream goes, we're actually at 2 hours, 39 minutes. So, I'd say it's about time we go ahead and allow me to put on my Big Brother cap, and we'll bring this to a close for the evening. Ah, man. Today was something. From that review to playing through a little bit more Star Ocean. And yeah, the more I play through it, the more I am basically really looking forward to eventually picking up the full game for myself. But with that said, let me go ahead and put on my Big Brother cap and hit you guys up with the daily reminder for today. Check this out. You get back what you put in the world. Put out positive energy, and positivity is what you'll receive. That right there just sounds like life in general, you know? You get out what you put in. It's as simple as that. Hopefully, you know, whether or not I receive any of it back, hopefully I manage to put at the very least a little bit of positivity into you guys' days. You know, well, actually, I feel like I do get it back. Every time y'all show up for the stream, it's like I'm getting some of that positive energy back. So, let's keep this feedback loop going, shall we? But we'll be back tomorrow, and yeah, I'm thinking we're probably going to go ahead and get started on Rogue Galaxy tomorrow. So, you don't want to miss it. We'll be back at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, and we'll get started with what I consider is a rather underrated PS2 gem. I'll see you tomorrow evening for Rogue Galaxy. Until then, as always, remember the 4 big rules, folks. Stay happy, stay hydrated, stay gaming, and stay good, neighborhood. Y'all have a good night.